Hello friends, myself Dr. Awadhesh Kumar Dubey. Student, welcome to our new series on Reserve Bank of India. Before this lecture, students, we have to read about the banking systems, the commercial banks and the central bank. On the last lecture, students, which are on central bank, we must read about the functions, the classifications, and the characteristics, definitions, all about the central bank. And on the last of that lecture, we must introduce that Reserve Bank of India is a central bank, is playing the roles of central bank for India. So in this lecture, students, we are going to discuss all about the Reserve Bank of India, what the Reserve Bank of India is, and what the history of the RBI or Reserve Bank of India, and which kind of the function is performed by the Reserve Bank of India or RBI, being a central bank. So let's start this lecture. Student, in the end of the previous lecture, we ask our questions to you that tell me the name of the central bank, or tell me the name of the country who have more than one central bank. I think none of the students have to reply it. I'm watching the replications of your answer, that which country have more than one central bank, and how many numbers of the central banks on that country. Half answers will be provided in these lectures, that USA, United States of America, is a country who have more than one central bank. But I'm watching your reply, how much central banks are working in America. So you searching it and reply me on the comment box. Those students who are regular students of this series, they must have to put their names and their roll number in the comment box, by whom I am identify their attendance or their daily watching markation of student. Now let's start the content of this lecture, that is Reserve Bank of India. Students, as you see on the screen, that Reserve Bank of India is the highest monetary institution of the India. That is the central bank. All of you know that the highest monetary institution of the nation is the central bank of the nations. And the RBI, the Reserve Bank of India, is a highest monetary institution of India, so that it is a central bank of India. Students, the Reserve Bank of India was established in 1935 under the RBI Act 1934. In 1926, on the recommendation of the John Hilter Young Commission, also known as the Royal Commission of the Indian Currency and Finance, which is the country's central bank, on 1st July 1949 was nationalized. So clarify this sentence, students. The Hilter Young Commission was established in 1926 for making the study about the central banking system worldwide, student. Because all of you know that on the beginning of 20th century, all of states, all of the nations have to accept the paper currencies. Due to this, the printing of the paper currency and worldwide the money circulations and economic systems was under pressure, because all of the nations have to use the paper currency. So by the using of the paper currency, the valuing of the currency, the valuing of the operation of the monetary system, or we can say the operation of the economic activities, have suffered. So the Hilter Young Commissions are finding the process, finding the solutions of this economic crisis, that each and every state, each and every nation must have to establish a central bank, and the responsibility of the circulation of the paper currency or the currency is in the hand of that central bank. By it, the circulation of the money will be stabilized and responsible. For this, the circulation of the worldwide currency was under supervision of central bank and the group of that central bank. So the fluctuation of the economy was not to be initiated. So the recommendation of this Hilton and Commission's reports, the Indian government, or then government, the British government who ruled the India, have to pass a act that is named of RBI. And after the recommendation of this act, the India have to establish a central bank named Reserve Bank of India. One story is there, students, that the empirical bank was transmitted or transferred as the Reserve Bank of India. So while the studying about the some banking system in India, we are discussing on this, because the establishment of the central bank, state bank, and so on is another interesting topic. So later on we are discussing on it as detailed, student. Now to focus on the lecture of RBI and its function, students. After the establishment of the 1935 of RBI and getting the independence in 1947, the nationalization of the banks was initiated. And after the nationalization of this bank, the RBI was nationalized in 1st January 1949. Since then, it functions under the government of India. Students, initially, the central office of the Reserve Bank of India was established in Calcutta during before the 1937s, but later on it is permanently shifted on the Mumbai after 1937. The Reserve Bank of India was established in 1935 under the Banking Regulation Act 1934 with the initial amount of the 5 crore rupees. At that time, almost all the shares of the Reserve Bank of India was owned by the non-government stakeholder or shareholder. Hence, to prevent centralizations of the shares in the hand of a few peoples, the Reserve Bank of India was nationalized on January 1st January 1949 by purchasing the all shares by the government of India and take in the hand of government, students. RBI have foreign reserves, bankers of the banks, and act as a bankers and credit controller of the government of India. These kind of the functions are be performed by the RBI. RBI is also responsible for printing the notes and the managing the monetary supply in the Indian economy. This is the supreme work of, this is the main work of, this is the primary work of the all central bank. So this work is also be performed by the central bank as a RBI as a central bank, student. Now to focus on the functions of the RBI, this is the initial part of this lecture, student. As you see on the screen, there are 6 functions is mentioned. These all 6 functions are be the function of a central bank, and it is also be performed by the RBI being a central bank. You see, issue of the currency, this is the prime function of the all central bank. Then student, the bankers of the bank, then the foreign exchange manager, then the supervisor of the finance system, then the bankers of the government, and the lastly the monetary policy. These all 6 functions are be the supreme function, the main function of the all central bank, and it being having a central bank of India, these all 6 functions are be performed by the RBI also. So now watch the step by step these all functions individually. First, student, the main function of the central bank is issuing the currency. Students, Reserve Bank of India has a monopoly to print note in the country. It has the authorities to issue all types of the note except the 1 rupees, because 1 rupees is issued by the Ministry of Finance. Reserve Bank of India issuing and printing all kinds of the notes like 2 rupees note, 5 rupees note, 10 rupees note, 20 rupees note, 50 rupees notes, 100 rupees note, 200 rupees notes, 500 rupees note, and currently 2000 rupees note. Instead of these notes, the 100 rupees notes and the 1000 rupees note and the 5000 rupees also be printed by the RBI on sometimes. So these are the denominations of the currencies what the issued by the RBI. Students, adopting the minimum reserve system, these all currencies are be published by the RBI. For printing the currency, they have a two policy. First, the gold standard system, and second, the minimum standard system, is minimum reserve system. Those countries who have followed the gold reserve system, they have to issue such amount of the money, the amount have the golds. But these policies are being adopted by only the developed nations because they have enough sufficient amount of the gold reserves. But like the India or like the other developing country, they are not be have sufficient reserves, so they have to follow the minimum reserve system. And so that the India is also we have to adopting this policy because of having insufficient gold reserves. So under this system, since 1957, the Reserve Bank has kept a reserve of 200 crores in form of the gold and the foreign exchange reserves, on which at least Rs 115 crores should be in the forms of the golds and the rest in the forms of the foreign currency. After keeping this amount of the 200 crores, the Reserve Bank can print any currency according to the needs, although it has to take permission from the government of India and as per the demand of the market and the supply. If they have economic crisis, they have deflations, or they have the period of the recessions, then the government of India have to request to the central banks, as central bank means have to request to the RBI, and RBI have to issue the more currency. But it is not to be so easy to RBI have to print the liquidity or print the currency easily, because the all responsibility of the issuing the currency is beared by the RBI. So RBI at first have to maintain some processes, some systems by whom the inflation will not to be increase or affect the economy. So having all study, having all watchful policy, then after the RBI have to issue the currency. Now the student, the second function is the banks of the government. All of you know that the another important function of the Reserve Bank of India is to act as a banks, agents, and the advisor of the government of India and the state, all the states. It perform all banking functions of the state and the central government, and also provide useful advices to the government on matters relating to the economic and the monetary policy. Students, it is also manage the government's public debt and other the policies related to the economic activities for the state and for the government. Because each and every state, each and every government institutions have accounts in RBI, and RBI have to collect the money as the behalf of the government, state and the central government. So they also have to act as an advisor, as an agent of the state and the central government. So this is the another function of the a function of the RBI as a bank of the government. The third is the bankers of the bank. All of you know that the RBI is the central bank of India. RBI is the supreme monetary institution of the India. So it is the bankers of the bank. RBI of the Reserve Bank of the India act for other commercial banks in the same manner as other banking generally act for their customer. The Reserve Bank of India lends money to all the commercial bank in the country as a central bank, as a supreme institution of the bank. RBI also be perform the facility, the function of the bankers of the banks, or the function, the bankers of the all commercial banks in India. It provide the loans, accept the deposits of all banks, students. So this is the third important function of the RBI. Next, student, is the controller of the credit. Students, the Reserve Bank of India takes the responsibilities of controlling all credit emitted by commercial bank. To achieve these objectives, it makes extensive use of quantitative and qualitative techniques of effectively control and regulate debt in the country. When the Reserve Bank of India say that there is uh, sufficient money supply in economy, and this can lead to inflation conditions in the country, it reduced the money supply in the market through tight monetary policies. And when there is an increase in the money supply in the economy, if there is shortage, it increased the money supply in the market. It means it was watching the demand and supply of the money into the market. If there are inflationary condition, it means the excess money supply is in the market. Then the government, and then the RBI have to take the initiative to tighten the monetary policy, by whom the loans are be crucial. The loans are be required highest rate of interest, so that the people were not to be demanded such amount of the loans. And due to this tightened policies, the supply of the money will be reduced in the market, and vice versa. It also we have to say, when the deflation situation, with the recession situation, then also it have to liberalize by the RBI. So this was the controller of the credit function is performed by the RBI. Now see, for controlling this function, controlling the credit, what the initiatives are being taken by the RBI, it will be shown by the tables, and the tables is showing on your screen. The type of the credit control by the RBI have to characterize by two types. First is the qualitative controls. It was operated by the bank rate observations, cash reserve ratio observations, SLR observation, that is initially called as the statutory liquidity ratio observation, and lastly is the monetary open market activity trends. By tighten the bank rate, the inflations are be controlled. By easing the bank rate, the deflation was controlled, so that for cash reserve ratio, so it is for SLR, statutory liquidity ratio. If there are more in inflation in the economy, then the government of India, then the RBI have to sold the assets of government into the market by open market activities, by whom the liquidity have to collect it from the exit from the market, and so that the inflation will be controlled. If there are deflation condition, then the RBI have to purchase the private companies, so that the more liquidity have to discharge in the economy, so that by this process the qualitative controls are be made by the RBI for controlling the money supply, inflation, and the deflation circumstances. It also we have to manage by the quantitative control, by difference in the margin money. Margin money is, it means the amounts for offer for depositor, if offer to depositor, and amount to charge for debtor. So the RBI have also, we have to monitor, or we have to control this margin for circulation of the money from the market stream. Also the credit rationing policies, and also the another policies are be used by the RBI for controlling the control policy. These are the policies of the RBI for credit control, student. Now the student fifth one is the custodian of the foreign exchange reserves. All of you know that RBI is a central bank of India. So it also we have to perform the function of the foreign exchange reserve of India. The RBI is buying and selling the foreign currency with the objectives to keep the foreign exchange rate stable and also protect the foreign exchange reserves of the country. Students, when the supply of the foreign exchange decrease in the foreign exchange market, then the RBI sells foreign exchange in the market so that its supply can be increased. And when the supply of the foreign exchange increase in the economy, then foreign exchange from the foreign exchange market. Presently, India foreign exchange reserves are around US $360 billion. This was the custodian of function of the RBI on the behalf of the government, student. Now the students is the controller of the bankers. All of you know that any entity which has to conduct banking business in India has to obtain a license from the RBI. It acts as a controller of the banks by including bank in the second schedules of the act. It issues the guidelines, supervision directly or indirectly, and exercises control over the management of the different banking institution. This was another function of the central bank is performed by the RBI. So this is the sixth function of the RBI, what we have to mention in initially, student. This sixth function is be performed by the RBI as a central bank, and now another function, that is the other function, by whom several kind of the function is especially for the India is performed by the RBI. That is Reserve Bank of India carried out many other development work. These functions include approval and implementation of the loans for agriculture, which are transferred to NABARD. NABARD is the part of the RBI, is a branch of the RBI for operating the agricultural development. Now, the full form of the NABARD is National Agricultural Banks for Rural and Reconstructional Development. So this is a branch of RBI to strengthen our agriculture sector, especially agriculture sector, purchase and the sales of the government security and the commercial bills, lending for government purchase and sales of the valuable articles, etc. It also serves as the representative of the government of India to the International Monetary Fund and respected India's membership into other foreign monetary institutions on the behalf of the government of India. This was another function of the RBI, student. Now the student having these all functions, the monetary policy of the RBI is playing an important role. In this lecture, I am just going to introduce only the monetary policy. One separate lecture also we have to make for the only monetary policy of the RBI and the central bank. Now see the importance of the RBI, introduction of the monetary policy. The rules that all made to run the economic and any country regularly are called monetary policy of the money supply in the monetary policy. Monetary policy is prepared by the Monetary Policy Committee, MPC, through which the money flow in the country's economy is controlled. Through these rules, the entire banking system of the economy is controlled. It means monetary policy is such a policy by whom the all circulation of the all banking of the money will be managed by the central bank. Simply put, the student, monetary policy are designed to control the supply, cost, and use of the money and the credit, and promote growth with the low and stable inflations. Now, if we talk about India, the Central Bank of India, it means RBI, act as the monetary authorities in India and operate the monetary policies prepared by the MPC. It means Monetary Policy Committee, and through which the money supply and interest rate, etc., is controlled. On the basis of this economic policy, the government fulfills the macroeconomic objectives like inflations, consumptions, growth, and liquidity strength. So this is the impact of the monetary policy. Having the power of the operating the monetary policy, the government of India enjoy the powers, or we can say the importance of this monetary policy uh, operation is given here. Student, you are watching on the screen. Through monetary policy, an attempt is made to accomplish the following important tasks. It also affect the economy. First, it supply money to the economy to control all the supply of the money in the economy is a part of monetary policy, and it was enjoyed by the RBI students. Now, their job is to control inflation and stabilize the prices. This is also the importance of the monetary policy of RBI student. To achieve the target of the economic growth rate is also be the part of the monetary policy, and it will also be performed by the RBI. Student, creating employment opportunity for the India, it is also be the part of the monetary policy, and it is operated by the RBI. Next, student, through these rules, the cost of debts can be increased or decreased through the repo rate and the reserve repo rate, and it would be enjoyed by the RBI as a monetary policy operator. Student, when RBI reduce key interest rate in monetary policy, so the money supply increase, the economic growth faster due to the increasing in the cash in the market, and vice versa. Student, when the RBI raise key interest rate in the monetary policy, so the money supply decrease due to due to less cash in the market, the pace of the economy slow down. So this is the monetary policy. It will be operated by the RBI. It was operated by the Indian Central Bank, that is the RBI, in the economy. So in this lecture, student, we are discuss all about the monetary policy, all about the function of the RBI in India. I think all of we have aware about this function, and all of you are enjoying this lecture. I think this is enough for this lecture. This is enough for this introduction of the RBI. Later on, we have to declare, we have to make a separate lecture on the credit control policy and also the monetary policy of the RBI. Student, this topic is playing an important role for your examinations. So must we have to read it, must we have to watch carefully it, because one or two questions must we have to the part of your all examinations. And if you have any query related the RBI, you must be have to put on the comment box, and I will try to answer you and make our effort best for you, make our effort to help on your examinations. If you have any query, you must be have to question, you have to answer me, you have to put your questions in our comment box. I hope you are enjoying this lecture, and if you have to satisfy this lecture, you must be have to raise the numbers of the channel's viewer by subscribing, by promoting the subscription of this channel. Thank you, students. Thanks a lot for this lecture. Thank you, students.